It was the Greek mathematician and engineer Archimedes who famously stated, "Give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world." Matt Symes, isn't that in effect what you're doing with levership?
Yeah.
Isn't that about it?
It's exactly what we're doing with levership. What's interesting is that 83% of companies that go out of business are actually profitable.
Okay, stop it right there. That's a great way to begin this, because if anyone in my circle knows anything about how to scale businesses in an ethical, responsible manner, it's you. Do tell.
Well, what happens is we get overinvested on disconnected targets. So when you're talking about a lever, look, strategy is one thing. Where am I headed? Where am I now? What is the single most important barrier to remove? Resources directed at anything other than that target are wasted resources, and small businesses don't have resources to waste.
No, because typically, as you well know, it's a small group trying to do, it's 2 or 3 people trying to do the work of 10.
Yes. And look, as a business owner, you're going to trip over more that you want to fix next week than you can fix in 5 lifetimes.
Right.
So the game really isn't about what can I see and how fast can I fix it. It's about how can I see it and make sure that I'm fixing the right things in the right order. Gilly Ladd is probably the most famous investor you've never heard of. He's invested in over 40 unicorns out of Silicon Valley. And he put it real simply. Everybody knows what needs to be done. Almost no one can do it in the right order. And as a result, they create chaos in their business. What matters? What's important? What are we improving? And you got a bunch of good people with good intentions working their ass off, making the business worse every day.
So right now we live in a world where we are very familiar, a lot of entrepreneurs are familiar, of course, with Michael Gerber's E-Myth Revisited.
Yes.
The latest is EOS, which is about from the book Traction.
Yep.
I want you to explain levership, because I think from my own personal experience, you're onto something quite fascinating.
Can I first say that I have a love-hate relationship with EOS?
Sure.
Okay. I love the fact that it has a methodology that takes owners and gets them to focus. I love that. The issue is you take those rocks and nobody helps you understand, how am I going to tackle those rocks? So when we talk about levership, there are really 3 portfolios of change you need to manage, or 3 portfolios of execution, if you will. One of them is a people lever. Am I going to reskill people? Am I going to hire people? Am I going to partner with outside sources, fractional CMOs, that kind of stuff? It's a people lever, skill set lever. There's another lever that says, I already have a process today for how I do things. I'm just going to put more focus on it and I'm going to do it. So it means like, hey, I have a good sales process. I'm just not meeting enough around it. I'm not putting enough minutes into it. I'm not measuring it. Great. So we're just going to put the focus on it, put more minutes, put more attention. We're going to execute it. Then there's a third lever, which means I'm going to change form, fit, or function of how I execute that so that it goes faster, better with less resources. Means I'm going to get more sales for the same amount of minutes.
That's levership.
That is improvement work.
Right.
Levership comes out and goes, okay, you're headed there. Which one of those portfolios are you using to get there? And when you get through EOS or Traction or any of these other management systems, they don't force you to ask the final questions. And it's just like a reno, right? The last 10% is 50% of the work. They leave you at 90%. And so what we do is really force that last 10% and say, okay, I've got it. I'm going to do it this way. It's worth this. And now I've calendared it.
So people, process.
You can go people lever in the business, using the processes you have.
Yes.
On the business, improve form, fit, or function of a process so that it goes faster, better with less resources. Those are your 3 levers.
And I've been following your career for quite some time now. And what I really enjoy watching is how levership is getting more and more traction, no pun intended, but I just watched you do a webinar We're in Matt's coffee shop. This is what, one of 10 companies you own?
There's one of 7 in the portfolio. Yep.
So seven. He's at 7 companies right now, and without leadership being applied by yourself, there's no way you could manage that. Plus a growing family.
No, not a chance.
But what I'm noticing is the appeal is spreading. More people are finding out. How are they finding out about these webinars you do and these opportunities for people to at least, dip their toe in the water and see what's involved?
Yeah, we're getting better, I think, at helping expose people to how their business could be better. I think also the results are starting to drive that flywheel. The first thing we do with any company, completely free, we do a financial model and we do a customer analysis. Because out of those two, we should both be able to see there is return we can go get. And if we can't see there's return we can go get, we shouldn't be working together. So the first step, we've just decreased the risk and made sure that we can. And the worst thing is people walk away with a financial model and a customer list and they start to see their business.
I would be remiss if we didn't take a moment to acknowledge how much of this has been influenced by your dad.
Yeah.
Merv passed away not too long ago. You wrote an incredibly eloquent tribute. Talk to us a little bit, Matt, about how Merv's fingerprints are still on your work.
They're all over this. I mean, Dad brought modern management systems from Procter & Gamble to JDI. It's a multi-billion-dollar, multi-value stream, vertically integrated behemoth here on the East Coast. And as he got near the end of his professional career, he said, look, I've been through the companies. I'd like to do something a little bit more meaningful. And in his last sprint, how do I give back? Okay, I've had my career, how do I give back? And so part of giving back was simplicity. And we said, how do we take what the big companies have unfair access to and get it to the smaller companies in an accessible way where they can use it to create value? And it took us some time to figure out how to take what big companies could afford and see easily and bring it to the smaller companies. But now, with the work that Dad, my brother, and I have done for about 7-8 years together, and then him coaching us from behind as he dealt with that terminal illness, really allowed us to hone in on what works for small companies. And you talked about the portfolio of businesses that we have. We realized very quickly that we had to live this and prove it. And why not live it and prove it? So now through coffee companies, a law company, geospatial engineering, through preventative health, etc., biotech, we have a series of minority and majority positions in companies that are living and breathing this and getting increased results every year.
I just love how historically it's connected to Archimedes.
It is.
Elite long levers and solid fulcrums. You too can move the world. Matt, thanks so much for doing this.
Thanks, Gary.
It's been said that you can't create a legend without a story. And just like what Matt Symes and his great team at LEVERSHIP are proving every day, you might be only one story away from creating your own legend.